Hello, my dear Geminis. This is your monthly astrological forecast for the upcoming March. So let's check the main astrological events from your point of view. On the 7th of March, we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Virgo. This falls in your fourth house, an important part of your natal chart, and you will feel it the most if your point called IC is around the 16th degree of Virgo. The full moon usually casts a light. We have some understanding, news, knowledge, realization about what exactly goes on with this area of life, which in your case corresponds to home, property, family. So there might be some gatherings, celebrations, decisions together with your parents or about your place of living, residency, documents related to where you live. Maybe there will be ending of a process of relocation or a final decision. And this full moon promises to be a little bit more hectic because it squares Mars in your first house. For so long, all 8 months, Mars travels back and forward, retrograde, direct through your first house, giving you this assertiveness, giving you this energy, giving you this feistiness. But in this case, please, dear Gemini, be careful, because when there is a square, it means a little bit more tension. So don't fight with your roommates, family members, parents. Maybe try to invest your energy into either work from home, sport from home, some DIY, do it yourself, repairing some furniture, but be careful of cuts and bruises. And yeah, be proactive about maybe moving boxes, refurbishing the apartment. Now, also, it's interesting that this full moon makes a positive aspect, a trine, to the planet of big surprises and change, Uranus, who is currently in your 12th house. So there might be some big revelations about your ancestors' past, childhood memories. You can suddenly have an insight. You can discover that you belong to some culture, particularly, or country, because of your ancestors. There might be some news from spirits, from your spirit guides, from ancestors. Yeah, 12th house is the subconscious, the spiritual, everything from the past. So maybe you're doing now regression, or you're doing constellations to work with relationships with your parents, and these family patterns and scenarios, how they influence you. Maybe you're working now on being more assertive, more brave, more bold, not anymore like shy, and cut off. Mars in first house can cut off some old family patterns and models of behavior that you consider like not working anymore for you. Of course, also 12th house is about emigration, relocation, faraway lands. So maybe you're going on a retreat, or maybe you do some interesting rockade in your life, like you are selling a property here and deciding to join some spiritual community somewhere, an ashram, because Uranus likes everything shared. So maybe you're going somewhere to live with friends in a caravan, or some adventure like this is maybe awaiting you, related to place of living. By the way, this full moon can be a culmination of a process that had started on a previous new moon, or even previous 2 new moons in the same sign, in Virgo. So remember what happened in your life. Maybe you were planning, thinking of starting something related to home, property, family around the 27th of August 2022 or 7th of September 2021. And now maybe these ideas and plans, now you're harvesting them, finishing, celebrating, or you have to fix something, change of course, or of course maybe it's the end of this process and you give it up. The same day, we have a very important transit. Saturn goes into Pisces on the 7th of March. Saturn will stay here for 3 years until February 2026. For you, it's very important because he will be crossing your 10th house. Now, if you want to know even more in depth about this and other transits all throughout all this year for you, Gemini, and you still have not seen my yearly video, which I uploaded, I think, at the beginning of December last year. So So browse my channel and you will see the video called Gemini 2023. It's more than 1 hour long. Of course, you can listen to it. You can listen to these videos for the sign of your sun, of your moon, of your rising sign, most importantly. You will hear everything about Saturn in your 10th house. But here, of course, I will mention as well that it's a part of a cycle. Astrology is not fortune telling. It's not just relying on sixth sense or some premonition. No, it's a in-depth studies, calculations, predictions and forecasts are based on observing the path of the planets, because everything is cyclic in astrology, so incredibly wise, the plan of the cosmos, of the space regarding all of us. And here Saturn is in the middle of its cycle through your upper hemisphere of your natal chart, which looks like a circle, you know. So all those 14 years, in this case 7 years ago, Saturn crossed somewhere around that time your descendant, and he started building up your reputation, your professional life, your aspiration in the world, who you want to become, how you want to contribute to the society as a parent, as a worker, as a business owner, as a volunteer, and so on. And here it's the peak process, yeah, because 10th house, Pisces, for you is the most visible part of your natal chart. It's the part where we become mature, adult, professionalist. The previous 3 years, Saturn was crossing your 9th house, which means it was time of studying, mastering your skills, becoming slowly but surely an expert, a master in what you do, maybe popular as well, maybe arranging travels and so on, relocation. And now you have the full responsibility on your shoulders. Yes, Saturn in the 10th house can bring very high social status, very high position, popularity. So here you must mind your reputation as well, because Saturn likes honesty. Saturn likes everything to be worked carefully, patiently, without cutting corners, producing something tangible, long-lasting. So whatever career path you're taking now, think about it as a legacy for years and years, for your children, for future generation. You really can create now something like, I don't know, whether it's a book or a piece of furniture, or opening your shop, or opening a school, whatever it is, you know, or becoming a parent. Saturn materializes everything. So here he can materialize you a marriage, materialize a child in your life. Saturn represents also elder generation, elderly people. So maybe now it's time to take care a bit more about your parent, for instance, or grandparent. And yeah, legacy here is extremely important word, not wasting time or on anything superficial. Saturn really hates the most superficiality and something unstable. He always creates some foundation, some basis, some structure, your inner core. So you are now creating your empire, so to say, professionally, most probably. But of course, we know that nowadays it's more, let's call it life mission. Yeah, life mission can be also to be a parent or a grandparent. You might become a grandparent yourself in those 3 years to come. Also, it's important that by crossing your 10th house and Pisces, Saturn will make a square to Gemini. So now let's check these cases as well. If you are ascendant, rising sign Gemini, Saturn will be making a square to your line ascendant, descendant, somehow auditing and putting to test your sense of maturity and your relationships. And you remember that Saturn wants everything serious. He really might take away and destroy those relationships in which there is a crack in foundation that cannot be restored. But on the other hand, he's like the concrete mortar, so he will cement what you value and what you have here. If you really can rely on your partners might be Saturnian, so Capricorns or Aquarius, or older, or more with more status, more serious, maybe more cold and aloof. Maybe they will treat you like a parent, but here is important to reach some level of consciousness in which you are both not children anymore, yeah, because Saturn is about growth and maturity. Old age as well, so you might feel older, tired, like full of responsibility, especially if you become a boss or CEO, or open your company, or become a parent, or take care of someone. We learn through responsibilities, commitments with Saturn. Yeah, your partnerships might be very committed, long-lasting, both personal and professional ones. In the 10th house also, I forgot to mention that Saturn might give delays, so don't worry if those 3 years you have to wait for the previous boss to leave on pension, and then you finally occupying this spot. There might be some challenges, there might be delays. Government might give those to you, or put you in some kind of restrictions. You might feel restricted with all those transit, as I mentioned here. You learn to put some personal boundaries as well with Saturn squaring your ascendant, and as well as your moon and sun. You will want to gain social approval and respect. Saturn is very much about it. That's why Saturn can also give some fears, insecurities, unfortunately, sometimes. So you will be aspiring some higher positions at work, in the society. Maybe at the same time you will have to overcome your own insecurities and fears, like, am I good enough? Do I deserve it? But remember, with hard work and honesty to yourself, just like an alpinist who climbs up to the top, it's important just to have your own goal, vision towards where you're climbing, and one step at a time, gradually, slowly but surely. Those are the motto words of Saturn in the 10th house. Now, if Saturn squares your sun, you might feel a bit less energized. You might feel more isolated or restricted. Also, if Saturn squares your moon in Gemini, the same thing goes, because moon in Gemini wants to chat, to communicate, to travel around, and Saturn might just block you because of some work or family responsibilities, especially when he will be conjuncting your point MC. And hence as well influencing the cross point IC, right? So family and career, status and life and home, property will be influenced alike. When Saturn touches these points, and also when he squares your moon, there might be some changes in your home environment. Saturn can kind of make it smaller. This is my point. So maybe you are taking a loan, you want to build your own house, but meanwhile you have to live with your parents and spouse and kids and many people in one small room, or you're making repairments, and that's why you have to also buckle up, and keep life a little bit more organized, and like live in tighter conditions for a time being, really, because maybe you are really building, establishing something. Meanwhile, yes, with Saturn square moon, elderly women in your life, like mom, grandma, should be a bit more careful with their well-being and health. Maybe you are indeed building your own home, or you become a parent or a head of a family. But even with this aspect, even when Saturn aspects your sun, squares your sun, that all means that you are growing, evolving, maturing, and that you have the chance to achieve some tangible results and understand yourself and your goals better. Be realist, and according to your work, Saturn will give you rewards. He is the planet of harvest as well. So even now in the 10th house, maybe it's finishing a 30-year cycle already for you, a cycle of professional growth and solid achievements in life. For some of you, it might be now even quitting job, going on pension. Some important events, I believe, will happen for you with this transit, which will have some significant material manifestations. Then on the 21st of March, we have a new moon at 0 degrees Aries. Well, this might fall in your 11th or in your 10th house still. Check your natal charts where 0 degrees Aries falls. New moons, of course, bring new opportunities and new beginnings. If it's 11th house, it's about friendships, communities, group projects. You might establish yourself, set yourself new goals, dreams, wishes, aspirations in a long term, especially because this new moon conjuncts Mercury. So we're talking about ideas, about communication with others, traveling possibly. Also, it conjuncts Neptune. So it is somehow linked to our imagination, faith, belief, and a dream. So we might put the beginning of achieving our dream. If it falls in your 10th house, then it is a professional career dream, because yes, Saturn will be kind of disciplining you in this area, but don't forget that Neptune crosses your 10th house as well for many years now, giving you more abstract, maybe wishful thinking about what you want to achieve in your life, maybe dissolving a little bit your goals and fogging them. They're a bit more unclear. So Saturn is welcomed now here to organize a bit your life purpose and direction. But at the same time, we need Neptune to dream. Exactly. First, we need a dream, and then we work on achieving this dream. Okay. Oh, by the way, this new moon also squares Mars in your first house. So just like at the beginning of the month with the full moon on the 7th of March, as well around the 21st of March, you might feel a bit more anxious, nervous, hasty. So remember, it's important to be organized, be self-disciplined. Mars is a great worker. Mars is a helpful tool. Don't be aggressive with your words. Don't look for a fight, basically, but invest this energy maybe in career achievements, in group projects, be the leader, be the inspiring person. Or maybe you will go trekking or jogging or do some sport with your friends or join some sport group. Also, this new moon makes a sextile to Pluto, which is in 29 degrees of Capricorn at this moment. And this is your 8th house. Well, because it's a sextile, Pluto gives you a very good focus, determination. You can achieve a lot. You can achieve some good support, emotional and financial, from your 8th house of the shared resources. But you see, when a planet reaches 29th degree of no matter which sign, always we collectively feel that it's time to end something, to conclude, to present, to with Pluto, it very well might be clean something, purge, get rid of, to destroy in order to build something new, possibly. And this is a big feeling, Pluto is a slow planet, but because he's so slow, he will be long time in this 29 degree of Capricorn, and coming back to it and forward because of his retrogradations. So just warning you that for the last time, we will feel, all of us, this feeling of the last push, in a sense, in the autumn of 2024, okay? And for you, it might be related to your 8th house, which is, for instance, your idea to get pregnant, or your idea to create your own business, to take a serious mortgage, a loan, maybe to go to study somewhere and invest in education. 8th house might be topics related to your intimate relationships, to stay with this partner, not to stay with this partner, to trust them, not to trust them. and psychology as well. Pluto in the 8th house is currently and has been for the last probably 15 years, transforming you from within, making you realize your biggest fears, pains, traumas from your subconscious, like taking the gremlins out, meeting them, and then somehow befriending them or getting rid of them, like healing your self-destructive tendencies, bad habits, self-sabotaging aspects. But Pluto always wants to dig deep. He always implies some certain level of introspection, working with a psychologist, interest in astrology, esoterics, philosophy, understanding yourself better and become braver and stronger. So maybe those deep inner alchemical processes of change of your psyche, digging out your hidden treasures, but passing through the dark night of the soul for some of you, might also come to an end soon enough. But talking about Pluto, very importantly, on the 23rd of March, he, for the first time, enters into the sign of Aquarius. It's for short this time, only till the 11th of June. So a couple of months, we are having the foretaste of what the next 20 years will feel like on a general level. Of course, we won't feel Pluto in Aquarius every single day of these 20 years, but it's going to be a big energy on the background, let's say so. Then on 11th of June, he returns back to the 29th degree of Capricorn, you see, to finish something there. But for you, a 9th house, for you, Aquarius is 9th house, okay? So Pluto, for the next 20 years, will be transforming, first thing first, your own attitude to life, your own perceptions, your own belief system. It's so important in this life what we really believe in. 9th house is a very philosophical, deep area of life. It's about our purpose of life. Why am I here? What is my mission? What I'm supposed to do with my life? 9th house is usually related to knowledge and education. So many people go to seek knowledge in universities. So you might decide to take at the very least some courses. You might meet some inspirational figures like teachers, gurus, lecturers. They might be contemporary people, or maybe you find some books and you start reading them, some philosophers, some spiritual leader, for instance. You might discover the Bible, the Quran, any sort of religious texts too. But just don't become too dogmatic, because remember that Pluto is the black and white, is the all or nothing, is the either I'm a complete agnostic atheist, I don't believe in anything, or I become mega religious and I start living in an ashram somewhere. So please try to follow the golden middle. Yes, Pluto will make you more philosophical about life. You won't seek for the superficial facts anymore. You will seek the deep meaning, the purpose and meaning of your own life. You will seek transformation, or you will just get it, no matter if you want it or not. You will be transformed via knowledge, education, traveling, people from different cultures, foreigners. You might start working in an international or legal field. 9th house it's about jurisdictions, court cases. There might be some severe court cases. Yeah, Pluto is, as we said, like either it's a win or die situation, you know. So again, also check your odds, check your chances. Is it worth so much money, so much effort to destroy someone in the court, for example, right? Because Pluto is very vengeful planet. So here some vengeance can be performed through the legal system. But of course, it might be as well concerning big business and big money. So here you'll have to fight for it. Power struggles might come in university with authority figures, with representatives of the law or of the government. You see, if you want to relocate, or if you did relocate, you will have to face these challenges of running around institutions, learning the language, getting accustomed to the new environment. And be careful of predatory people, people who are stalkers or somehow try to manipulate you or control you through this ninth house. Be very careful with false gurus, with sectas, yeah, people who pretend to be spiritual but just will drain your resources, money. Very, very carefully choose your alliance to or devotion to someone, because you will find some strong connection maybe with, as I said, some spiritual people or writers, inspirational people, but it's important their life philosophy, whether it's the correct one, so it does not destroy you but empowers you. You have to get rid of toxic convictions of your own. Yes, remember, still we keep on, as with Pluto in the 8th house, you worked with your emotions and subconscious level, your shadow. So here with Pluto in the 9th house, you work with your mindset overall. Pluto should destroy your inner not boundaries, hopefully not destroying your boundaries, but inner borders, which prevent you from traveling, from experiencing the world. Maybe you will become a teacher, a guru, a famous psychologist, a financial advisor, politician. Pluto is the big power, politics, money, business, mafia as well. So be careful here not to be like in a novel of Mario Puzo, like The Godfather and so on. Maybe you will travel to Sicily throughout this time period. What else? Yeah, regarding knowledge, you might be interested in Plutonian knowledge, like psychology, occult studies, finances, business management, big love, big passion with someone from abroad. Your values should be carefully studied and transformed here if need be. And yeah, you might become super popular. Pluto might bring you huge audience. He is like really about big masses of people. So here, again, your reputation is very important. Your honesty is very important. And because you will be dogmatically sharing what you believe in. So it better be like proven and truth and kind of positive and helpful for the society. And on the 25th of March, Mars transits finally into Cancer, leaving your first house. So it was a good time to build up your body, your muscles, become stronger, feistier, more assertive, trace your boundaries, fight for your rights, and so on. And now all this energy, Mars is the drive, passion, motivation, ambitions, also conflicts, go into your second house of work. So you'll have a lot of energy to work, a lot of power and energy and desire to earn money. Also, you will have a lot of impulses to spend money, so be careful with that in the next 2 months, okay? And it's our self-esteem as well, the second house. So work properly, that's good. You can motivate yourself. Come on, you can do it. Listen to some affirmations. There is a very funny short song, I think 2 songs in YouTube by Snoop Dogg, teaching kids about positive thinking and affirmations. So you can listen to this like every day. It's funny because it's for children, but it's actually very effective. It works because it rises up your it's boosting your energy and self-esteem. Like, yeah, I go for it, I can do it, I can ask for bigger salary. But of course, be careful with conflicts at work. Other than that, you will be very skilled with work matters. Well, dear Gemini, of course, many more things are happening in March, but according to me, those are the most important events. I wish you a fantastic month, very powerful, very interesting, very inspiring. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, dear Cancer. This is your monthly astrological forecast for the approaching month of March. Welcome. So let's see. The month begins with a full moon on the 7th of March at 16 degrees Virgo. And for you, this is your third house. So the moon itself in this moment will be illuminating the area related to your communications, exchanging of information, knowledge, skills. So you might perform in front of others, you might open a class, teaching, webinar, you might finally finish building your website. There might be a big success in some trading activity, or there might be some realization about your small business. Yeah, this is all third house. There might be a revealing trip somewhere you will travel. You will know better about your vehicle. Maybe it was diagnosed and somehow repaired so far, or you will understand it needs repairment. I think it might be related to traveling or foreign lands or languages, maybe studying and so on, because this full moon squares Mars in your 12th house. Now, because there is a square to Mars, these days around the full moon might feel for all of us quite more hectic. And in your case, Mars in 12th house is something that you can't see or touch. It's like your blind spot, your subconscious, but subconsciously you are so proactive. You're so overwhelmed by information, studies, multitasking. It's interesting, it's cool, exciting, but I think you barely would be able to sleep. So take care of your health, inner peace, meditate, do some sport activities on the fresh air. Breathe. You can do active meditation through yoga, through Tai Chi Chuan. I love Tai Chi, really. It helps so much, but it requires concentration. And of course, maybe with Mars in the 12th, you are actively seeking ways to emigrate, relocate. You are collaborating with foreigners, with people from overseas. Maybe you are preparing or now finally finishing some researching, laboratory studies, preparation for exam, for instance. 12th house is behind the scenes, secretive, preparation stage, and Mars is very active in this. Or maybe you're traveling to a place where you can heal, you can do some sport for feeling better, you go to some retreat, ashram, or just a trip with your friends somewhere abroad. Because this full moon also makes a trine to Uranus, the planet of surprises, of innovations, and of communities, in your 11th house of communities. Traditionally, 11th house belongs to Aquarius, and it's ruled by Uranus. So, wow, Cancer, now you can meet some very unusual, original, open-minded, quirky people, or you know them already, but because here is a full moon, a culmination, maybe you together present some project. Maybe you're finishing educational course in IT skills and computer languages, for instance. Maybe your friends help you to establish your small business. Maybe you gain audience online through your website and marketing campaigns. With a full moon in third house, it's great for PR, marketing, selling, buying something, and you will see clearly the situation. And it might benefit the community. Maybe you're joining some political or non-political organizations, and whatever you're doing, it's very social. It's probably very helpful to the society. Maybe you're joining some humanitarian or volunteer groups, or some large international, possibly, organizations. So you are like, oh my God, I have to learn this and that and meet my colleagues, remember their names, speak in many languages suddenly. And by the way, to give you more hints about this full moon, it might be a culmination of a process that had started during the last 2 new moons in the same sign of Virgo. That is, you can remember what were you writing in your new moon diary as wishes, or what were you seeding, planning, or starting around the 27th of August 2022 or the 7th of September 2021. Okay, then we had 6 months ago, and 1.5 years ago, we had new moons in Virgo. Now maybe the process gives you the good results and you're harvesting the fruits of your labor regarding all the topics I have just suggested. The same day, we have an important transit. Saturn goes into Pisces to stay here for the next 3 years up until February 2026. And for you, Pisces is your 9th house. That's a beautiful area, I believe, of life. Saturn is a very serious planet, and he will be deepening, most probably, your desire for knowledge, seeking for meaning in life. But because Saturn is very grumpy, in a sense, planet, he's very realistic. So here your purpose in life might stop being so idealistic and dreamy, but more practical. Like, how can I be useful to the society? What skills do I have? Do I need to improve them? 9th house is higher education. So Saturn here might push you to start studying something, because in 3 years, then he will be passing into your 10th house of worldly achievements, of success and social recognition, respect, and so on. So now you're preparing for your big career breakthrough through studies. Yeah, 9th house, we study or we teach already. Maybe you're a teacher, professor, lecturer, but it has to be something very respectful, very practical, pragmatic. Maybe you are about to publish a study or write a book, some scientific work possibly, but Saturn likes something tangible that you can feel almost literally in your hands. Or maybe you're studying to be an engineer, to work with the earth, with the rocks somehow. So Saturn is a big auditor, so he will clean, auditing what's needed, what's not needed about your faith, your belief system, maybe relieving you from toxic beliefs. Try not to fall for those beliefs which are limiting, because Saturn is the planet of limitations and structures. So he might make you here a bit more pessimistic. No need to go there. I mean, really stay in the realistic terms. Pragmatic, practical, study hard. Maybe you'll need to combine work and studies. Maybe you'll need to overcome some boundaries, some challenges to go abroad to study. Yeah, because 9th house is about expansion and Saturn is about contraction. So maybe their exams will be harder. Professors will be more strict and critical. Elder people might teach you. You might become interested by some dogmatic sciences and beliefs, something very old school, very traditional. You might choose the oldest university in your city or in your country. Maybe you will be working. Saturn is professional planet, work or internship, for instance, in an international organization with foreigners. 9th house, in a legal institution, in a court. Yeah, Saturn might bring here court cases. If I were you, I would not start a court case, because then it might be prolonged, because Saturn might give delays. So here maybe there will be delays of your exams. Maybe you become a parent and you don't have time to now defend your master thesis and take the degree. So it will be in those next 3 years, for instance. If you are emigrating, if you're going abroad, it's possible. Saturn does materialize those life events as well, according to the house where he transits. So yeah, you might go abroad. It might feel tough for you at the beginning. Once again, Saturn does not give anything without a reason, without a previous effort, but he does reward. He's the planet of harvesting at the end of the days. So if you have been now studying for many years, postponing your certification exams, well, now Saturn might push you to finally do so, and come after this transit as a very renowned, respectful expert and master in your field. Now, popularity comes with ninth house, and here maybe Saturn will make shortage of followers, for instance, lesser, fewer, but very loyal. So you'll have the people who follow you, your crowd, right, who can be very devoted to you, seriously. Don't lose your faith in yourself, because Saturn might be also the fears. Am I good enough? Will I manage it? It's important to work one step at a time. So if you have to write a book, if you have to publish something, you have to study, then do it every day, couple of hours, but don't skip a day. And remember, with ninth house generally is about luck, but Saturn here says that success, tangible, material, respectful success in life not always comes with luck, but rather with hard work. On the 21st of March, we have a new moon at 0 degrees Aries, just following the spring equinox, and it might fall in your 10th or your 9th house, really, in your charts according to the Placido system. So please check this more carefully, where 0 degrees of Aries falls in your chart. If we talk about 10th house, this new moon can bring new career possibilities, new social status, like you are getting engaged or married, or you change your surname, or you relocate. New management might come to your company, something new also maybe in the life of your parent. And if this new moon falls in your 9th house, then it brings new opportunity in what we just talked about, Saturn structuring. So new professor, new education system, new court case, new documents. By the way, yes, 9th house talks about relationships with the government as well. So with 9th house, it might be tough to get some document, passport, visa. You'll need to prepare, collect documents. Maybe you'll need to go through a language and a culture history exam of this country. So again, once again, hard preparation and patience, because things might be moving slowly. And because this new moon on the 21st of March conjuncts both Mercury and Neptune, it feels like there is a lot of chance for traveling, movement, communication, meeting people, showing your skills, sharing your ideas. And at the same time, Neptune gives here the dream, gives here the faith that everything is possible, and maybe you will be traveling indeed somewhere overseas or far away, even if it's just for holidays, but it very likely might be a business trip too. Maybe management will come from the office in the other country. This new moon also squares Mars, its own ruler, still in Gemini in your 12th house. So yeah, there is a lot of energy and passion about something international, or about something you do behind the curtains, let's say. So some research, preparation, laboratory studies, analysis, or even work on your health, of course. But try to avoid this inner anxiety. Better do some really jogging and sport studies, watch documentaries, try to keep busy your mind, try to sleep properly, because with Mars in 12th house, just like at the beginning of the month on the 7th, around the 7th of March, it might be a bit more difficult for you to relax. So active subconsciousness on your background. But it's great, by the way, with such active Mars in the 12th house, to cut away bad habits. 12th house are the self-destructive habits, addictions, toxic things in our life that we drag as emotional baggage, for instance. So Mars can cut them efficiently here. Also, this new moon makes a sextile to Pluto. Sextile is a positive aspect, so Pluto adds to this new moon this intensity, dedication, focus, ambitions, desire to be on the top of things, to be the winner. But because it's in the 29th degrees of Capricorn, you see any planet that crosses the 29th degree feels urge, like, oh, I'm about to leave this area. I have learned everything, I believe, but maybe I must finish something quickly, last push. And especially with Pluto is about pushing or achieving or, by the way, cleansing or purging something. And in your case, it's your 7th house. But let me remind you that Pluto is such a slow planet. Half of the time he's retrograde, so he will be revisiting this 29 degree of Capricorn still several times. The last time he will be here will be in the autumn of 2024. So last time he will sneak into your house of relationships and be right across you, because Capricorn and Cancer, you are on the same axis, right? So those were intense last 15 years, especially when Pluto was crossing your descendant ascendant or aspecting with opposition your moon or sun. Very transformative years, right? But more about this, you can listen in my video Cancer 2023 that I uploaded at the beginning of December last year. I prepared very in-depth, long, more than 1 hour long videos for each sign for all the major transits of this year. So if you have not yet seen it, I recommend you to watch it. You will find out there that you will want to probably watch 3 videos according to your rising sign, sun, and moon sign. But here, yeah, well, here with this new moon is still activated the area of your contracts, negotiations, agreements, collaborations, business deals, work with clients, and of course, personal relationships, which Pluto is trying to finish transforming. So whether you go on the next stage level of relationship, you make it more deep, more serious, or you get rid of it, you release, you let go if this relationship was toxic or controlling, if it was awakening in you some jealousy and obsessions, or your partner was aggressive or a stalker, different cases, or maybe you finally meeting, maybe all these 15 years, everyone astrologers talk around that Pluto is so significant that he will bring you very powerful, transformative relationships, your soulmate, almost, and nothing happens. But well, now 29th degree, last push, maybe last chance to meet such a person, Plutonian person. But then already on the 23rd of March, Pluto for the first time enters into Aquarius, a really historical transit. This time he only dips his toe here until the 11th of June, because then he goes back into 29th degree of Capricorn. But Pluto will be overall in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So let's see what this transit will look like for you. Of course, we won't feel it equally intense every single day of those 20 years, but it's going to be some important, let's say, background energy or unfolding topics in your life. And 8th house is like the purgatory, I would say. 8th house is the underworld of each of us. It's ruled by Scorpio, this area of life. It's about deep introspection, digging within yourself or within others. 8th house is the house of gurus, psychologists, tantric healers, shamans. So it's any sort of means or people who help you look to the dark side of your own psyche, the shadow side, so to say, because the shadow side is very scary, but also very powerful, transformative, and rich on your inner treasures. So Pluto himself is the lord of this house of scorpionic energy. So many people with Pluto in the 8th house pass through this purgatory. They pass through eventually through the dark night of the soul. They meet existential questions in life. They meet this, sometimes is the instinct of survival with the Pluto in the 8th house, but oftentimes it's just it's not real, it's just in our head. It's fears of death, fears of life. Pluto in 8th house might bring to some of you pregnancy, because it is the house of death and rebirth. It might bring as well some kind of crisis situations, shaking up your foundations, in order for you to prove to yourself that you are able to manage your life, to be in control, to fight with bullies, with aggressors, whoever tries to actually manipulate and control you. So some kind of power struggles overall might appear, and they might be in 8th house topics related. So once again, be careful with your partners, personal and business partners. I would say people to whom you trust. And by the way, Pluto in 8th house will examine, first of all, if you have any trust issues. If yes, then why? Where does it come from? You probably will need to work with a therapist. It's always helpful. Researching yourself, or researching, maybe you will decide to study psychology, esoterics, astrology, psychological astrology, most of all, psychological tarot. You will feel more like an X-ray person. Your intuition, instincts will be heightened. Your passion, you can become passionate about something or someone, very obsessive. So here again, as I was saying, careful not to fall under the dominance and control of person that you decide that you trust and love, or to try to control them or your children. Frankly, people might become a bit more paranoid with Pluto transiting the 8th house, but also you might be just researching finances. You might actively collaborate with financial inspectors, auditors, financial institutions. You might apply and receive huge mortgage support, scholarships, loans, sponsorship for your research, for your business. But also, again, that might mean some level of falling under their influence and depending on them. It might not be just unilateral, so maybe you will be sharing your resources with someone in order to establish common shared business. You might be investing in something important, big, long-term, like property, like business, with someone else. You might get rid of bad habits and addictions. That's fantastic. Pluto here might first bring to you some compulsive, repetitive habits and something that destroys you. But then he will also help you to work it through and remove it. Yeah, Pluto is like the surgeon. He needs to spot the ill place, to open it, to clean it, cut it out, and then it will heal properly. You might meet very powerful healers, shamans, psychologists, financial advisors, very useful, very deep sexual connection with someone, intimate connection with someone, purging toxins from your psyche, emotions, mind and body. There might be some physical operations as well. And because Pluto is big money, you might receive inheritances, credits. Also here, be careful, because almost always credits means that you will be then a slave to the system for many, many years. So count well your possibility later to repay it. Certainly an interest into the occult topics, esoterics, working with secret, confidential information. Maybe you'll join some secret services. Self-analysis will be very important, deep researches, and at the end of this transit or throughout this transit, you might get these feelings of catharsis. And as I said, you will be discovering more truth about yourself. Secrets will be revealed in your life. Maybe you'll discover potential of a mediumship, that you can be healer, or you will join activity, work that is related to crisis situation, to work with some abused people, for instance. Yeah, you will discover some innate talents, and maybe topics that are considered still a little bit like taboo in the society, maybe you will be interested in them and try to propagate them, share more light on them, like why people should actually talk about them and discuss them and understand them. Maybe you will become like investigative journalist or policeman, something like that. Well, at the end of the month, on the 25th of March, the planet Mars finally leaves your 12th house, Gemini, where Mars was for the last 8 months due to its retrogradation, and he enters into your sign, your first house, Cancer. So what does it mean? Well, you will have much more energy for the next 2 months. Here will be Mars in your first house, energizing you, vitalizing you, making you more passionate, more ambitious, more assertive, more feisty. So here, be careful not to be overly aggressive, or to take everything so deeply personally, like of being very easily offended. So people don't have to walk like on eggshells around you, for instance. Yeah, you will become actually also, it's great, Mars in first house will make you cut through the crap and to just say the truth, be very authentic, act fast, so you can act fast on opportunity. You can be initiator, be proactive, start something new in your life. First house is the beginning of all beginnings, I call it. So go for it, do it actively. You will also inspire other people. Mars is the planet of leadership. So now you are the example of action and leader. Dear Cancer, maybe as usually your sign is actually very actively caring. So here you will be proactively caring, protecting yourself, protecting your family and loved ones, or doing some sport with your children. Of course, passion in relationships, but also you might be a bit more prone to scandals or, fights. So temper yourself here. And sport, fantastic. Mars will vitalize you for exercises and burning some calories and fat, of course, if you want it. So this is how the month looks like, in my opinion, for you, dear Cancer. I wish you a fantastic March. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, dear Leos. This is your astrological forecast for the approaching month of March. Very important month with the pivotal planetary changes and shifts in energies. Let's see the important astrological events for you. We start the month with a full moon on the 7th of March at 16 degrees of Virgo, and this is your financial area, second house. Full moon can bring awareness. So you will be very well aware about what's going on with your budget, income, spendings. Maybe you'll finally acquire something you always wanted. Maybe you'll decide to let go and get rid of some accumulated possessions that are just cluttering your home. There might be culmination in a work process, like an ending or celebration, harvest. Finally, you receive some deserved salary, recognitions, awards. Finally, you decide where to invest your money. As I said, buying something or selling something might be here on the table. It's a very hectic full moon, I must say, because it squares Mars in Gemini in your 11th house. So be careful from conflicts with your colleagues and team with whom you work, your like-minded people, or the group with whom you study or work, in the organization where you are, because Mars can bring some conflicts. But on the positive note, if you organize yourself, if you try not to be hasty and rushing and trying to grab at the same time many projects and not finishing them all, possibly that you'll have big success in a group. You might show yourself as a leader. The 11th house is also when we receive indeed the awards or the results of our professional efforts, like payment or bonuses. So yeah, here you might actively get what you deserve from work, recognition by the team, possibly. Also, maybe you're achieving some long-term goal or dream of yours, or at least you have a lot of passion to do so. And this full moon makes a positive aspect, a trine to Uranus in your 10th house. So look at that, second house of work and money, 11th house of income and group activities, or maybe teaching or online work, blogging. And the positive thing would be if you modernize your work, if you collaborate with like-minded people, if you introduce more technology and gadgets to your work, if you go for something out of the mainstream, even risking to be seen in the public eye as the black sheep, you know, but here Uranus makes a trine, a positive aspect, so it will help you to be unique, to be avant-garde, to be ahead of the trend, or feeling the social trends. You're now very much in the, I think you're earning money from something public and doing in a group or in front of other people. So yeah, there might be something very fresh, new, interesting. You might become more independent in your career. Your status might suddenly change. So there you go, employed, unemployed, or vice versa, for instance, or become a freelancer or open an online business, scientific researches, and so on. This full moon is a culmination of some process that we have possibly started around the new moons, the last new moon 6 months ago or 1.5 years ago in the same sign of Virgo. I will help you with the dates. Maybe you were planning or initiating something around the 27th of August 2022 or the 7th of September 2021. And now you get the culmination, fruition, harvesting, or ending of these topics. Right, then we have an important event, dear Leos. On the 7th of March, Saturn goes into Pisces, where he will stay for the next 3 years till February 2026. It's a great news for you because Saturn kind of leaves your 7th house, Aquarius, which is right across you. So in the past 3 years, you were feeling Saturnian influence on your ascendant, sun, or moon, depends who is watching me right now and listening. And more about this previous transit and the results that Saturn brings here finally, you can listen in my big video of Leo 2023 that I uploaded on this channel maybe in the beginning of December, I believe. It's a more than 1 hour long video where I discuss in depth the most important transits for you for all this year. So if you still have not seen it, go for it. I think it will be interesting. But here let's focus on Saturn in Pisces. Saturn will be structuring the topics of your 8th house, auditing, checking the foundations. If there is a crook, it will be destroyed. If it's solid, it will be cemented. And okay, 8th house is shared resources. It's something we share with people we truly trust. And here Saturn will be asking the question, can you trust this lover of yours, this boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse? Can you trust this business partner? Will you continue investing money together, or there is some inequality and something fishy going on? Saturn is a planet of work, and 8th house can be a planet of business. So maybe now you will become much more serious and responsible about your business. Saturn wants you to be also responsible about taxes, you know, all the money that you owe someone. If someone owes you money, then karmic planet Saturn will make sure these people pay the due to you, pay what they owe you. But the same goes for you and others. The 8th house is the house of death and life and rebirth. So yeah, Saturn was the planet as well, the Grim Reaper, before Pluto was discovered. So Saturn here might meet some kind of you meeting the concept of death, or maybe understanding it better. What does it mean? And maybe more philosophically. But also here Saturn might materialize life for you in the form of a child, pregnancy. I would say that if in the next 3 years, Leos, you get pregnant, it's a karmic child, right? Because it means that this, I believe truly that we all, our souls, have a mission here in this reincarnation as in any other. It's part of the path of development, growth, and experiences of the soul. And we choose very precisely in which century, which country to be born, in which family, to which people, parents, what they can teach us, what we can teach them. So those are not random connections, in my opinion. And now Saturn transits in your 8th house. If there is a soul ready to come to incarnate in this lifetime within your family environment, to learn from your experience, pass some life lessons with you, then it will come. On the other hand, maybe there are some Leos now watching who are actively, let's say, trying with a partner to get pregnant, and maybe in those 3 years there will be a delay in this topic. If it's not happening, it means again there is a karmic reason for this, that Saturn says, okay, wait a second, you're not yet ready, maybe you should check more carefully your health, your conditions, work on some psychological traumas. Oftentimes people cannot get pregnant, they say everything is fine, we're healthy, both partners, materially even they're fine, as a, you know, in society as well, they're ready for the child, but there is some unknown obstacle. And 8th house is the house of secrets as well, and subconsciousness. So here Saturn might help you understand what are the inner blockages for you, for being rich, for being a parent, for establishing deep inner connection with someone else, to trust someone else, trust issues. Overall, it might be like a mini dark night of the soul, in a sense, even though maybe it was experienced by you when Saturn was opposing your sun, moon, ascendant, because you have to seriously make some inventory of your own shadow, psychologically speaking. You have to dive deep there. Saturn is not digging so much as Pluto does, but we are in the house of Pluto, the 8th house, the Scorpionic house, and Saturn wants maturity and serious attitude. So you will be asking yourself serious questions and doing some introspection. Maybe working with a psychologist. With Saturn, it can be a very good, strict, reliable specialist, experienced. It might be a very good, experienced astrologer, tarologist, yeah, someone who works with the occult science, or you might decide to study those topics or work with them, psychology, occult sciences, esoterics, working with crisis situations, ER, medicine, to become maybe a healer, doctor, or nurse. Shamanistic knowledge and studies, work with the subconsciousness. Like I just start discovering something called neurographics, which is a theory that by drawing some interesting, beautiful drawings, you can create new neuron connections in your brain. Very interesting. I'll have to research it deeper. Saturn goes into my 8th house, so I will discover some serious, solid psychological techniques that will help me and possibly others. Self-discipline is very important. Keeping a cool head is very important. 8th house is very emotional, it's very deep, but Saturn is very aloof, and he's like a researcher. He's like a scientist. So you have to scientifically examine psychology, your own psychology, be like, okay, so that's the reason of my own addictions, misfortunes, self-sabotaging, limitations. I have to take it under control. And yes, Saturn is the planet of dealing with life as a mature adult person. So this attitude will help you, and a serious specialist, of course, as well. Self-discipline, fantastic for getting rid of bad habits, smoking, sugar, whatever addictions, psychological or physical, you'll have here the chance to once and for all heal it. Radical acceptance, radical forgiveness, not so like dramatic and emotional, but just like understanding that this is the only way to liberate yourself from the burdens of emotional pain. Yeah, stay like a observer of your own psyche, and of course discovering meanwhile while you research your shadow, meeting your inner gremlins, your inner demons, teaching them something, like, you know, organizing them, becoming good friends, like as if they're your pets in a sense, training them, training yourself, self-training, very importantly, because Saturn is rigid, serious, but also very effective. So you can be very effective at business, shared resources, psychological issues, and reach eventually maturity. Don't give in into despairs, into depressions. It might be slippery on this slope in this sense. Try to stay rational and mature. On the 21st of March, we have a new moon at 0 degrees of Aries. For you, that might fall into your 8th or 9th house, depends. Check in your natal chart where the 0 degrees of Aries falls. If we talk about 8th house, then a new beginning in all these mentioned above topics, which Saturn will be structuring for the next 3 years. So, but in this case, new moon, new sponsor, new investments, new passive income. Yeah, Saturn, by the way, might shorten the help by others, make it smaller, harder to get. You'll need to be patient while waiting or asking for mortgage, for credit, for scholarship. You might to collect some documents, go to prove some qualifications, exams, and so on. Eventually you will get it if you deserve it. Remember, Saturn gives the fruits of your own labor. But at the same time, it might be not lavish, like not huge financial support, but it, let's say, it will be regular. For instance, yeah, if there is a divorce and the partner will pay alimony to the other partner who's staying with the child, well, those alimony maybe will not be huge, but will be constant, like every month. And so, yeah, new passive income around the 21st of March, new psychological realization, new big passion and love. And if we talk about it happening in your 9th house, then new travel, new foreigners in your life, meeting someone from abroad, new course, education, knowledge coming your way, conferences where you can shine your skills. And you see this new moon conjuncts both Mercury and Neptune. So Mercury gives this agitation, traveling, meeting people, talking with people. Maybe it's a therapy session, right? If it's 8th house, signing papers for loans. So a lot of communication and thoughts and movement. At the same time, this new moon conjuncts Neptune, so it might be following a dream. A dream starts coming true, or yeah, we start working on the realization of some deep desire, and we have the faith it will eventually become reality. Maybe you will be interested in psychological instruments like hypnosis, or do regressions in past lives, or constellations, work with your ancestors and attitudes in your family. At the same time, this new moon squares its own ruler, Mars, still in your 11th house. So once again, just like the full moon around the 7th of March, it's a bit more hectic time with a bit more sparks in the air between you and your friends, for instance, or groups of people with whom you collaborate or work. But better invest this into passionate activities and sport with others. Also, this new moon sextiles Pluto. So we will have the power, the self-control, the dedication to our goals. And Pluto is in the 29th degree of Capricorn at this moment. So any planet at 29 degree of whichever sign will feel that it's the last time, the last chance to prove how did it learn the topics of this sign, to finish something, to conclude, in the case of Pluto, to achieve something, to purge something. Don't worry, Pluto will be visiting this degree a couple of more times. Last time he will be here in 29th degree of Capricorn in the autumn of 2024. So this will be the moment of final purging or finishing something related to what? To your 6th house. This is your 6th house. So finishing some work project, finishing some problematic period of life where you had to take care of something or someone, fight for something or against someone. 6th house can be court matters. 6th house can be repairments of a vehicle, of property, dealing with enemies, restoring balance, fixing problems, mistakes, paying off our karma by serving people, working hard. Again, about all of this, I talk in the other bigger video. Health, also about health, bad habits. Maybe you're reaching to this conclusion that, okay, I should stop the fats, the sugar, or smoking or drinking. And anytime Pluto now is in the 29th degree of Capricorn, you do something or then you slip back. But the end of it will be in 2024. Meanwhile, Pluto already will dip his toe into Aquarius now on the 23rd of March until the 11th of June this year. Yeah, just a couple of months, just scouting, checking, giving us the general feel how the next 20 years will look like, as this is the length of the Pluto transit through Aquarius. Here till 11th of June, because then he goes back being retrograde back in Capricorn, you know. So, wow, important topic for you, because Aquarius is your 7th house. So, yeah, Saturn just left. Pluto comes here for even deeper transformation through your relationships. Pluto usually brings to our life people, and here more so than in any other house, other people. Now, I cannot fortune tell which will be these people for you. I'm also a Leo rising. Also depends the degree of your ascendant or your sun or your moon, because maybe Pluto will reach opposition with them maybe this year, maybe next year, maybe in 10 years, 20. Of course, we won't feel Pluto here so intensely every single day, but as a general topics, it's very interesting to observe and to be aware of Plutonic transit through our important area of the horoscope, one of the 4 cardinal houses, 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. So this will be life-changing, really, dear Leos. Transforming yourself through very powerful transformative relationships. And I will give all possible scenarios I can think of, positive and not so much. But when I was preparing this topic, I thought about this movie and books, 50 Shades of Grey, because it's gonna be something really crazy here. You might meet someone who is your true soulmate, or at least feel like this. But remember that Pluto is the lord of the underground. He abducted Persephone, his love lady. So he can cheat, not cheat, but you know, he can be the devil basically. So you might meet the devil wearing Prada, I don't know. But basically you can meet people Plutonian, like very rich, very powerful. And of course, the danger is to fall under their control and influence, manipulations, whether through children, through money, through marriage, through business partnerships. So on one hand, these people can really help you grow. They will shake you up, you know, wake up, you can do this and that, either through motivation. Through psychology, they will motivate you, or through crisis. Maybe you will experience betrayals and jealousy, control, stalkers in relationships. But yeah, first, sometimes we can feel powerless with Pluto, but then eventually we regain back our power. So Pluto is empowering through other people. There might be your clients, there might be, you might really work seriously with a psychologist, with a financial advisor, with business partners. Politics, you might be interested in politics. Leo overall can be really convincing and charming politician, speaker, a person on a stage. Pluto can mean that you're gaining huge popularity. Pluto brings massive amount of resources and people to you, but really be aware of toxic relationships. Passion can be very, you might feel very passionate, magnetic, or you might be attracted to someone like this. Anything superficial, if any at all, so far in your life regarding people, uncertain people, passers-by, they just will go away, really, because Pluto will want you to stay with the most serious, loyal, dedicated people in your life. You might meet your best friends, soulmates, karmic partnerships, which you know that are not always fun and easy, quite the opposite, right? But we'll learn something from them, or we have to repay some karmic debt with those people. Yeah, very serious partner with whom you can have family, children, or maybe the marriage so far was not going well. Saturn here helped discovering the problems, and Pluto will completely destroy the rubble, you know, like to the ground, in order for you, like a phoenix, to rise above. For some people, maybe it will be a divorce and then reconstructing the relationship from the beginning. There is a psychologist, a Vedic lecturer, guru online that I follow. And his theory was that, yes, you can repair any sort of relationships, but first you have to destroy them and start all over again, from the courting period, from dates outside, from bringing flowers, taking care of each other, and then already move in again together, and so on. Even though Pluto can be like all or nothing, you know, like either you meet someone and the next day you are already sure that this is the person for you, you start living together, buy property together, have children the next year, right? Something very transformative. Or it might be really with cautiousness, because Pluto does not trust. There are trust issues. Pluto is afraid of suffering, even though he oftentimes brings suffering. And the more we are secretive and afraid and ashamed of something, the more there is the danger that Pluto will eventually dig it out, dig the skeletons out and put them into the light. So here is very important to be absolutely honest with yourself, brave enough to be honest with yourself and with others, and hence you will attract the people who think and see the world the same way as you, not being fake with others. This transit might bring you big ambitions, especially if it will oppose your sun eventually, change your life path, life goal direction, changes in your management, your career, very lucrative, big financial business deals, agreements, clients of psychology, esoterics, finances, reconstructions. Pluto is like the planet that regenerates. Pluto is the planet, maybe you'll meet surgeons as well. Maybe you'll meet people who can, especially if it will be opposing your moon, you will be repairing your home. Very likely that it will be the basement area, the toilet area, the pipes, or fighting infestations in your home. So such type of workers you might be hiring. Be careful if Pluto opposes your moon. Be careful of, I mean, the feelings will be really running deep. Don't fall for like paranoias, fears. When it's opposing your sun or even on your descendant, you might think that everyone is attacking you, that you have to be in this fight or flight mode. This inner instinct of survival might wake up. It's not always necessary, but at the same time, if there will be really health problems, health issues, then you will do great, because Pluto is a huge regeneration in a short period of time, surprising the doctors and so on. The person with Plutonic influence in natal charts or by transit can really bring the crisis situations, maybe also in form of something happening with your body, in order for you to remove the negative cause, especially if it's like a chronic issue that you don't care, you don't notice it. So Pluto is the kind of the eruption of something which was long time overdue and toxic and poisonous. So it can be people, it can be relationships, business. Maybe you'll quit job, maybe you'll open your own practice as a consultant. It might be as well regarding your health, home. Maybe you'll finally separate from parents, from mom, go your own way, build your own family and home. Pluto likes to work with the subconscious. You see here, it's maybe even good that Saturn crosses your 8th house, because he's grounding you. He's like, okay, do your diary, check the neuro drawings, do these exercises every day, attend a psychologist every day. Even though Pluto might like shrink your finances basically, and you have to be very reasonable and wise with investments. I forgot to say, Pluto in the 8th house is about investing money. Saturn in the 8th house, investing money into something solid, long-lasting, traditional, nothing too extravagant or crazy or speculative, very cautiously, very carefully, with research, study. But then your investments might be really, you might need to wait for them. Maybe you invested in a maybe you give your land, so a company can build their higher building with, I don't know, 10 floors, and you wait for them all these years to finish this construction, and finally then you get there the share of the property and several apartments and so on. But patience and long-term investments, careful ones. And here, yeah, with Pluto, changing your life situation somehow, especially if it opposes the moon. Digging deep into your psychology. Yeah, this is what I started saying, that Pluto wants to take, like from the inside out, everything in you, like make it like boiling, bubbly. And eventually you might be crying, and moon in Leo can be a bit more dramatic anyways. Maybe you will do some drama classes. That would be a good way to channel all this energy positively. Doing something creative, dramatic, hobby, passionate about hobby, something very intense, writing a book, writing a memoirs about your childhood, making hypnosis, regressions, constellations. Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, with Pluto in the 7th, I think you will develop this instinct, this X-ray vision for others. You will see people's motivations, a real core. They won't be like able to, I think, trick you. Oof, right. And then on the 25th of March, the planet Mars goes from Gemini finally into Cancer, because he was 8 months in Gemini, quite a long time due to his retrogradation back and forward. Now for 2 months, he will be in your 12th house. Very interesting, because 12th house is usually about dissolving, about endings, about relaxing, meditation, prayers. It's the subconscious, exactly. It's what we don't feel, we don't see, but it's there. And now you subconsciously will be very active, very maybe even anxious. So very important is to have regular walks in the nature, breathing practices, meditation, yoga, tai chi. Those are great, really, ways to exercise your body and discipline yourself at the same time. Mars in the 12th can be very active in researching, in healing procedures, especially with acupuncture, tapping. He can make you work online with a foreign land, with an international company. Yeah, as I said, actively studying, researching, visiting libraries, laboratories, spa, clinics, traveling abroad, traveling somewhere to monasteries, temples, ashrams with other people, maybe doing some active tourism and active meditation. Mars is like knife or scissors, so it can help you cut out toxic people, relationships, habits, self-destructive tendencies, fears, traumas. Once again, like the knife of the surgeon, he can open up some subconscious piles in order to cut out what hurts, right, and help you heal. So you can use this transit to be even more so self-assertive, self-disciplined, even though it might be very hard to relax and sleep while Mars is in the 12th house, but some exercise before going to bed might be very useful for you. Okay, dear Leos, well, this is how March looks like for you. I wish you a fascinating, interesting, exciting, powerful month that will empower you and bring you important revelations and possibility to grow and develop. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, dear Virgos. This is your astrological forecast for the approaching month of March. Let's dive in and see the most important events from your perspective. So on the 7th of March, we have a full moon in your sign at 16 degrees. So you will feel it the most if your ascendant, sun, or moon are around this degree. Wow, well, full moons usually are like limelights on you. So like it or not, you can become popular, famous, or you can just be the center of attention in some party, celebration. You can organize something. Maybe you are now actually harvesting the results of your long time efforts to finish some personal projects. You know, first house usually is the beginning of all beginnings, and full moon is kind of a culmination. And I must mention that maybe it is something that you were planning, dreaming about, writing down in your wish diary for new moon around these two last new moons in your sign, 6 months ago and 1 year and a half ago. Or to be more specific, remember if you have started something around 27th of August 2022 or 7th of September 2021, because now this cycle, it's not even maybe ending, but it's reaching the peak point. And because you, Virgo, are very discerning, you like things to work properly, you like to find and fix problems, this full moon might help you to do so with something around you or with yourself. First house might be about your body. So now you have clarity about your health issues. Maybe you finish the process of healing and restoring your health, diets, exercises. So now you look at yourself in the mirror and you're proud of yourself. Finishing or culmination in some relationships, business deals, contracts, agreements. You make the final decision maybe. I must say that this full moon is a little bit more hectic and active because it squares Mars in your 10th house in Gemini. So actually there might be achievements at work, in your career. Of course, try to avoid scandals and fights with authority figures, bosses, or your parents, dad specifically, but you might be more assertive, proactive about getting what you want at work, receiving your deserved recognitions. And this full moon makes a positive aspect, a trine to Uranus in your 9th house. So you suddenly might indeed gain popularity. You might attract public, people, audience to you. You might show off like a brilliant genius in whatever topic you work with or you study. You might be, this is how your status might change. You become a master in a sense that you get a degree of PhD, doctor, master, researcher. Uranus is about astrology, about science, about technology. So maybe you show your skills in those areas of life. You find like-minded people, you go abroad. You start working in an international social environment in some way. Then on the 7th of March, we have an important transit. Saturn goes into Pisces, into your 7th house for the next 3 years. So it will be directly opposing you, your ascendant, or maybe your sun, your moon in Virgo, until February 2026. By the way, for more in-depth details for this month and all the most important transits through this year, you can check my video Virgo 2023 that I uploaded, I think, at the beginning of December last year on my channel. You will find there all the 12 signs, more than 1 hour long, carefully studying all these transits, where they come from, where they will take you. But let's focus here now on Saturn transiting Pisces, your 7th house. Well, Saturn is a big reviser. He's the auditor. He's testing the foundations of your relationships. Are they solid? Are there serious people next to you? Personally and professionally, we're talking both, even though Saturn is more professional planet, but he also represents the parent, the mature person. So you will be meeting such people. Or there might be, suddenly Saturn might impose some distance, cooling off a little bit some of your relationships. It's good for professional life. I'm repeating myself because Saturn is very strict, loyal, serious, long term. There might be delays, but also there might be like slowly, carefully, cautiously entering into some business relations, finding clients. There might be not many. Saturn here can squeeze your dating life and activity, or clientele and partners and so on. Really not many, but quality ones, loyal ones, people that you can rely on. And of course, if they're just passers-by, if they're just people on whom you can't rely and are not serious enough, they'll just leave. They'll move on. You will move on, because Saturn opposing your sun or moon, for example, will make you grow, will make you mature. And if there will be a mismatch in life experience and interests and goals in life with your partner, then why should you even bother to stay together? But if you are consolidating now your partnerships, if you are engaging, getting married, signing some contracts, there will be for long term, at the very least for the next 30 years. Because by the way, now Saturn crossing your descendant, he starts his 14 years transit of your upper hemisphere of your natal chart, yeah, until reaching again your ascendant, when a new 30-year cycle for you will start. Here you are in the middle. Saturn was disciplining your inner core until this moment, and once he crosses the descendant, he will push you out in the society. It might be scary. You might worry, am I good enough? Is my image okay? But that's why you will have to make efforts to study, to be proactive, to surround yourself with serious people, to build a serious reputation, to establish a goal, life mission, to see which people are your team, who will continue with you through this path. And then eventually Saturn will, in about 7 years, reach your MC and give you the status and the recognition of the society for what you do as a professionalist, as a mentor, as a wise one. Now you can meet such people, Saturnian people, elder, wiser, motivational, critical, criticizing you, parent-like people, parenting you, making you more ambitious. Hopefully you won't meet people who will be blocking you, but it's also possible. If your sun is across, if your sun is in Virgo, then eventually Saturn will be opposing it. So you might feel very restricted, kind of pushed to the corner, like there's so many obligations on your shoulders that maybe everyone expects you to be the leader, the boss, the organizer. Or you will feel the opposite, that someone is taking this role from you. But very important is to stay in control here. Saturn teaches control. Either he imposes control on you by the outside circumstances, people, there might be, authorities, representatives of the law and so on, or It might be you who must regain control, streamline, establish what's truly important for you. And yes, Saturn opposite your sun might give you some feeling of loneliness. Overall, this transit, for people who look for something real and serious and don't agree to the mediocre stuff, yes, of course, you might feel in some moments more isolated and lonely. Think about your self-esteem. Saturn, with opposing your sun especially, thinks about you establishing a rock-solid self-esteem that would not depend on what others think or say about you. Teaching you responsibility, definitely disciplining you, maturing. Same goes with the moon, especially. Maybe it will be a bit harder to express your feelings. Maybe your living space will be smaller for some time, or you will have to live with elderly people, take care of them, or Saturn materializes. So maybe you will get pregnant, you'll give birth, or you will take care of a child and again feel a bit more tight, kind of very responsible. Your routine will change, because moon speaks about our habits, routine, how we feel secure, how we feel happy. And with Saturn, it will be a bit harder, maybe because Saturn is a very serious planet. But then maybe you need to make inventory of your memories, emotions, relationship with parents, with homeland, with home. Maybe you'll have to move out. Maybe you will be dealing some first, seventh houses about business. So maybe you will be selling property, buying property, relocating. First, it might be tough. Maybe you're building your own house. Saturn is a big builder. He represents bricks, rocks, stones, concrete, mortar. So yeah, solidifying your home, parenting, relationships, or destroying the ones that have been unstable, shaky, and maybe toxic. Saturn teaches you independence, I would say, in a sense that self-reliance, rather. When he will be opposing your moon, it is about from a child to grow up into an adult already. All right, then on the 21st of March, we have a new moon at 0 degrees Aries, which falls either in your 7th or in your 8th house. Check in your natal chart where is the 0 degrees Aries. If we talk about 7th house, then here you have the possibility to meet someone new, to establish some new relationship, contracts, new agreements, new deals. If it's your 8th house, then it might be some new business, new shared finances, new possibility for investment, some new passive source of income, new interest in psychology, occult, esoterics. You might start working on your subconscious psyche and so on, maybe establishing deeper relationships. This new moon conjuncts Mercury, which makes it more chatty, more connections, contacts, discussions, ideas, maybe moving, traveling. And at the same time, it conjuncts Neptune, which gives it more feeling that you are dreaming. You make actions to achieve your dreams. You act upon your inspiration, which is wonderful. New dream you might put in your life, set in your life. Also, this new moon is a bit hectic because it squares Mars, just like it was the case of the full moon at the beginning of the month on the 7th. Once again, more activity professionally, fighting for your status, a sharp turn, change of status, being assertive at work, but be careful with conflicts with superiors. But very ambitious regarding career. And what will help you to focus more and to be like very assured about what you want and achieve it, very motivated, and exert some power, will be the sextile to Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Here Pluto helps with the focus, with the ambition, power, self-control, discipline. But being in 29 degree, any planet feels the urge to finish something, conclude something. With Pluto, it may be about purging something, deliver, finally get it. Yeah, passion, get it what you want. Pluto will be here at 29 degrees of Capricorn still several times. For the last time, it will be in the autumn of 2024. So imagine, no need to rush right now. There will be still several opportunities to actually fulfill something regarding your fifth house. Kind of Pluto will be the last push now. And fifth house is about children, having children, forgiving some topic, maybe giving them space to forgive you about something. Maybe it is about your children's ambitions, and they must achieve something in their life. Maybe they have children now. It might be concerning your own business, so kind of establishing or promoting your business. It might be an important decision about your romantic partner, to stay together, not to stay together. Is it good relationship? Is it toxic? Some people, you know, are with the years along, in and out relationship. Maybe your hobby will be finally Plutonian, like something regarding esoterics, occult knowledge, psychology, research, topics taboo, or finances. Maybe you are waiting for some big support or investment. Fifth house are some speculative investments as well. And actually, on the 23rd of March, Pluto makes a historical move. He enters into Aquarius. This time it's only dipping a toe, really. He will stay here till 11th of June, because then he will be back again in the 29th degree of Capricorn. But overall, we will feel what topics and themes will be on the background with us for the next 20 years. The length of this transit of Pluto through Aquarius. Of course, we won't feel it equally intense every single day, every single month and year, but it's good to be aware of the general vibration and influence of this massive planet, so important, in your sixth house. Yeah, for you, Aquarius is sixth house. So Pluto will be transforming and changing your daily life, your daily routine, your daily habits. And because Pluto is like this roller coaster, up and down, up and down. So there might be instability regarding your occupation, your work, your daily life routine. Maybe you will be constantly moving houses, changing offices, looking for the real meaningful job for you, because Pluto doesn't like anything superficial. Be careful, anything without meaning. But at the same time, he might be careful of burning out, because Pluto doesn't know limits, or the so-called golden middle. He's like black and white, all or nothing. And it's about work. So either you will be staying like, oh, I don't want to work at all, so a couple of months unemployed, you know, or then you will be like workaholic, investing all your energy into some project and then getting sick of it and burn out, you know. So be aware of this. Try to be very conscious about what is the true job that you want to do, by which you want to not only earn money, and it's possible. Pluto is always huge finances, big money, big business, politics, influential people. So you might work with such people or in such spheres like banking, tax institutions. You might decide to work as a therapist, counselor, psychologist. That will be very useful. Or if you work in institutions that help people deal with crisis management and tough life situations, you might help people who suffered some Plutonian topics like abuse, repatriation, refugees, and so on. Because sixth house is the karmic house of serving, of burning out your karma. And here it might be massive process. I mean, it is very long, of course, but through what you do, you can be very well rewarded, but also you can be not only physically but also psychologically and spiritually rewarded by Pluto burning the karma, the bad karma, by serving others, helping them in crisis situations. At work, be careful with manipulations, control issues, power struggles. You know, Plutonian people might be around, like stalkers, unfair attitude, and you'll have to, of course, establish good boundaries and don't allow people overstep them. Yeah, big opportunities at work for sure. Good for health. I mean, in a sense, health also might suffer crises and ups and downs. Pluto might initially, how to say, lure you into the dark side, like with bad habits. You might be chain smoker or something like this. But also eventually, when Pluto will be triggered, activated, and maybe finally when he finishes this transit, you will be so strong, so self-disciplined, so empowered that without any prolonging anymore, you will quit once and for all your bad habits. And here again, you might fall all these 20 years into excess. Like one day you will be like a martyr, constantly fasting, no alcohol, no sugar, nothing for a year, vegetarian, vegan, and then suddenly the next year something happens and you gain like, I don't know, 20 kilos, and you smoke and you drink and so on. So be careful again with these magnitudes, you know, of behavior regarding food, taking care of yourself, exercises. You might become maniac about fitness, for example. There are some people who just don't know when to stop in diets, in fitness. So be careful with all sorts of toxins, poisonings, radiation, polluted environment, digestion problems. And Pluto is a very psychological planet, so no disease here is just physical. It all comes from subconscious, from the mind, from the stress, most probably, from some hidden reason. So here, first, unfortunately, there might be harder to investigate the reason of your symptoms, of your problems. So you'll need to look for very good specialists, doctors who are scorpionic, I mean, who are researchers, not just checking you quickly, prescribing you some pill and bye-bye. No, it has to be a person who maybe you'll have to pay big money. Pluto is really big money, so it might come to you, or because of work, or you might give big money because of fitness instructors, or buy some fitness tools for home, or go to some doctors. And at the end of the day, you will have to do the radical, Pluto radical changes of your lifestyle in order to feel better. Pluto will want you to detox during this transit, try different systems. Like I remember when Pluto, what I remember, Pluto is still in my 6th house. So I constantly am interested in some different healthy advices, which sometimes are a little bit, you know, you have to be cautious. Internet is full of healthy advices. Once I decided to drink hot water with this baking soda because of some pH level in the body. Then I decided to try the eating seeds and flax seeds, you know, but also you have to be careful with this because they gain volume in your stomach, so you need to drink them with a lot of water. So be careful not to harm yourself by some tendencies about work. Research, that's great. Investigate, research about health matters. I became this kind of a patient who goes to the doctor, and the doctor thinks that I don't understand anything of health, but you know, I'm asking questions, and I was very disappointed by many doctors who were just very superficially checking me, supposing that it just cannot be, I'm too young to have this problem, and so on. On the other hand, of course, don't get into this how is this called, when a person is too much afraid for his health, their health, and you are constantly in paranoia about your health. But it's, really, when your body gives some symptoms, they might be psychosomatic, related to your emotional state. And last but not least, yes, Pluto in the 6th house might bring, of course, some health issues, which just it's time to address them. Remember, Pluto first tries to hide everything under the rug. because of shame, because of I don't know what, like I want to pretend to be strong, but at the same time I'm afraid as hell. But then eventually the same planet is like, it's enough, you know, this must reach the burst, the outburst, and to be addressed, cut out, cleaned, you know, and healed. And if there are some health issues, Pluto also gives very uniquely fast recovery and regeneration. Pluto is the planet of the phoenix bird. One moment it burns in ash to ashes, the other moment it's a new chick appearing, ready to pass the cycle, right? So it's a cyclic planet of death and rebirth. So the same way, if there are some health issues, they can be with research, with dedication, they can be addressed. And if there is some operation or something, you will be surprisingly, your body surprisingly quickly will be regenerated. But it's a great time to really be decisive to get rid of bad habits. Okay, and at the very end of the month, 25th of March, Mars goes into Cancer after 8 months in Gemini in your 10th house. And here Mars will be energizing your social public relationships, friendships, group activities. Maybe you'll go to some group sports, travel together with other people, motivate them. Mars is a leader. Be careful of fights with friends, conflicts, you know, but if there is a need of honesty, assertiveness, like enough is enough, we want to be clear with each other because we are good friends, right? So here Mars also will give the push to cut the crap and be real, be honest with friends. More energy, more ambitions into group activities, social project, humanitarian project, volunteering, NGOs, political activities as well. Internet activities online, you can be very active there, or in your office, or as a student, as a teacher, in groups, right? Whatever you do in front of public or in groups. And also here Mars can activate receiving income, awards, rewards, bonuses from your professional activity, and proactively setting up new goals and chasing them. Go for it, work for your goals, you will achieve them, long-term goals. Yeah. So dear Virgos, this is how the month of March looks like for you. I hope you will enjoy it. It will be powerfully transformational for you, very interesting, and bring you only positive events. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Hello, my dear Libras. This is a monthly astrological forecast for you for the upcoming month of March. So we begin the month with a full moon on the 7th of March at 16 degrees Virgo. This is your 12th house. Very interesting. Full moon, the moment of clarity, of awareness, of culmination in the house of the subconscious, of the past, of the memories, of anything we kind of were putting under the rug consciously. So you might have some strong revelations here, news, knowledge about family issues, the past life, especially if you do regressions, constellations. You might finish some project that you were doing behind the curtains, you know, like a research, preparation for something, or your work online with the overseas company. Maybe you were chatting with someone overseas and now you meet with this person. It might be really related to your process of gathering or preparing documents for relocation, travel, emigration, because this full moon squares Mars in Gemini in your 9th house of documents, governmental institutions, learning, teaching, international activity, court cases. A square is an intense aspect, so there might be hastiness, tension, proneness to conflict. So don't fight with your teachers, with foreigners. Be careful on the road, be careful with the speed, plan, organize, because just the problem of Mars in Gemini, it's too distracted, hectic, it wants to do a lot of multitasking. And with the 9th house, it's about knowledge, documents. So even if you go to an exam, maybe online, or you prepare to travel, just make sure that you have everything written down. You don't forget your passport, so you don't get angry at the airport, you know. This full moon makes a beautiful trine to Uranus in your 8th house. That's interesting. So indeed, there might be some cosmic downloads for you, in a sense of insights, revelations, these aha moments related to your subconscious, your psyche, your memories. Maybe there will be sudden healing, sudden let go, a radical forgiveness. You know, 8th house is the deep inner traumas that we carry with us, but Uranus wants you to be above those, to be free. Also, Uranus in the 8th house might give news of pregnancy, or modernization of the business, diversifying the business, maybe getting more clients as a freelancer, or building some financial network, by the way, with somebody. Maybe some interesting investors will come to your life, or you will invest into something technological, new age, modern, avant-garde. And yeah, something online is going on here. Maybe some deep connection is finally revealed, like you are meeting someone from abroad who is like your soulmate, for instance. And actually, these processes, they come as a culmination of something that you planned, you wrote in a diary of wishes about 6 months ago, or 1.5 years ago, when we had a new moon in the same sign of Virgo. So more specifically, 27th of August 2022, or 7th of September 2021, new moon in your 12th house set up some beginnings, and now they come to some very exciting, apparently, culmination and fruition. The same day, 7th of March, we have an important transit. Saturn goes into Pisces till February 2026. He will be crossing your 6th house. That's interesting. The planet Saturn of business, of work, of discipline goes into a house where I think he can be quite efficient, in the house of work, of self-discipline, of burning your karma. And Saturn is a karmic planet who gives always the fruits of our own labor. You reap what you sow with Saturn. And in 6th house, you have the opportunity to serve society, to be serious, to be strict, to be austere, rigid a little bit more, maybe like more responsible with yourself, with someone else, helping people, organizing people to help themselves, for instance. Yeah, and this way, of course, you are earning good points for your karmic journey. Just try not to become a workaholic with Saturn in the 6th, because Saturn is very serious. He is diligent. He gives deadlines, which is fantastic. He will organize you very well here, make you efficient. But of course, he might give you a feeling of tiredness and like, it's my duty, I don't feel the joy of this work. Well, you have 3 years to basically see if this is the real deal for you, the real job of your life. Because if you feel desperate, tired, and like, you know, you can't do it anymore, so maybe that's actually not your field of activity. Saturn represents elderly people, limitations, restrictions, burden. And in 6th house, maybe it will come through the way that you have to take care of something, someone, maybe some elderly person in your life, or supervising, because Saturn usually is a higher position, but still you have to supervise, let's say, repairs in your home, or building a home. So you have to find the proper builders and materials and so on. Saturn himself rules rock, stones, marble, sand, concrete, you know, mortar, And basically, yeah, he can destroy anything that has a crack already there. So if you have a crack at work and it's not your type of job, he might send you to unemployment for some time, an unemployment office. But it's important to keep on in shape, you know. So let's say ask the unemployment office to send you to some requalification. Maybe you'll change your vocation. I did it once when I was abroad, and I decided I had a chance once to become a tour guide. So then I actually quit the previous job that I was doing, and I was at for some time at this unemployment office, and then I saw that they give me option. Do you want to become a gardener? Do you want to become a tourist guide? We can support you in that, but if you just pass your exam, so you'll go to very intensive 3 months course, study the local history, language, everything. Then if you pass your test, exams, and so on, you become the national certificate of an official tourist guide of this country. And of course, you are out of the unemployment office. And this is how, for the first time in my life, I became a freelancer, because guides usually don't have contracts with one company. They're independent workers abroad, alone. Like, this was really amazing time, and partially it was when Saturn was transiting my 6th house, but then I got extremely overwhelmed and tired because I was doing tours like, I don't know, 6 days in a row of every tour of 6 hours. So I barely could speak, and it was tough, really. So keep your boundaries here. You might need to establish personal boundaries at work. Maybe you become a team leader, a manager, so you cannot be anymore so friendly with your team. Still, Saturn can make you very serious and criticizing and rigid, or your colleagues might be such. So don't fall for this extreme. Be fair, be authoritative, yeah, exert some knowledge that you're higher, for instance, but don't go like overboard with criticizing people around. But remember also, you need constancy, yeah, doing something one step at a time. Saturn is not a sprinter. He likes marathon, so slowly running, but many kilometers of distance. You might be interested in diets and exercises as well, slowly but surely. Not cardio that make you sweat, but something that builds you up slowly, gradually. Don't fall into perfectionism, please. Really, Saturn can be very ambitious and at the same time scared that you are lacking respect at work, that you're not good enough, that you didn't train enough. So of course, Saturn wants you to repeat, to train with many repetitions. You will become a perfect master of your craft, of your skill. But don't fall for the trap that everything must be just perfect, because you will exhaust yourself this way. This is what I did and keep doing. Saturn is about bones, hair, teeth, spine. So during this transit, be careful not to become shrinked like this because of psychological feeling of burden on your shoulders. Keep straight, do some yoga, stretching, because Saturn might calcify, harden your joints, muscles, but also you might want to drink calcium to keep your teeth healthy. Yeah? And remember that time is your biggest resource. Saturn is the planet of karma and of time. So in the 6th house, he will be asking you the question, what do you spend your daily attention and time to? Is it something worthy? Aren't you more, in 6th house, we sometimes go overboard into being the savior or the victim. So either it's like, oh, life is so tough, how can I do it? Why me? Yeah, why should I take care of my child, parent, and work and clean and so on? At the same time, Saturn can be, okay, I'll help everyone. All my cousins are calling me, all my neighbors depend on me. I mean, here Saturn will want you to streamline, prioritize, right? Maybe some people don't need anymore your help. They can do it themselves. On the other hand, maybe some people will need your wise counseling, advice, show example, help, and so on. But value your time. Then on the 21st of March, we have a new moon at 0 degrees of Aries, and this is falling either in your 7th or in your 6th house. If we talk about 7th house, it might herald new relationships, meeting someone new in your life, new opportunities for business deals, clients, agreements, negotiations. If it's in your 6th house, then yeah, we're talking about new job project, new office, new diet, new way to organize your life. And by the way, talking about, yeah, 6th house is of course health as well. So Saturn here will make you be more strict with your health. You might feel like you're getting old, tired, so take care of your vitality. And also, maybe you'll meet serious specialists for your health issues. Yeah, Saturn, very like old professor of medicine, doctor, traditional medicine in a sense. Yeah, and oh yeah, the diets. Yeah, you might want to try fasting and diets, but don't starve yourself, please. Still remember about diversified diet, because you need all the vitamins and minerals, okay? Because Saturn might make you very slim out because you work so much, stress, and no time to eat. Well, make sure you do have time to eat diversely. And yeah, so this new moon on the 21st of March conjuncts both Mercury and Neptune. So we have the chance to chat, to discuss things with others, to communicate, to travel, to move around, share ideas. And Neptune gives this dream, the hope that we will achieve everything we desire, everything we dream about. Also, the new moon squares Mars in Gemini, still in your 9th house, just like at the beginning of the month with the full moon on the 7th of March here as well. There might be some tension on the road during travels with foreigners. So try not to be aggressive to people from different cultures or professors, but invest your energy into studies, into travels, into maybe even, yeah, of course, you can take some exams and so on. Just be well organized. Don't waste your energy around many, many topics and subjects. Concentrate. To concentrate will help you actually the sextile with Pluto. That's amazing. That's great. Pluto will give the big ambition, desire, self-discipline. He's currently at the 29 degrees of Capricorn. And yeah, just a second. Want to check something. Yeah, so 29 degree of Capricorn, where he will be for the last time in the autumn of 2024. So whenever a planet is in the last degree of a sign, there is a sense of urgency, of the last push, finishing something, completing, getting what I want with Pluto, purging. I'm just warning that this feeling will be eventually prolonged. No worries if you don't manage now everything. And Pluto is in your 4th house. So there might be this tension with exactly finishing or starting reconstruction, repairment, getting rid of the insects, the pest, finally rebuilding the basement, the toilet, the pipes, you know, Plutonian topics, change house, start working from home, start doing business with property, some topics like this, which you feel that you have to do it, separate from family maybe, and now there is this last push, last decisions, but again, Pluto, because he's so slow, he will revisit this several more times. Nevertheless, now on the 23rd of March, he already moves forward and dips his toe into Aquarius. Here he is in the very first 0 degree in Aquarius till the 11th of June. When he goes back again to Capricorn, being retrograde. But overall, Pluto will transit Aquarius for 20 years. Of course, we won't feel him so strongly every single day of these 20 years, but exactly now, in those 2 months, we will feel the taste of Pluto in Aquarius, of what general topics, leitmotif on the background of our lives will be with this strong Plutonian energy. Let's see, in your 5th house. Wow, Pluto will be transforming the area of children, love, hobby, passion, fun. What can I say? I did have Pluto transiting 5th house. Generally, it was an intense party time. I mean, depends on your age, but be careful. Pluto is the planet that knows no limitations, and he doesn't know the golden middle. It's all or nothing. Party hard as if there is no tomorrow, basically. So, we have to be kind of reasonable about this, about our time. At the same time, Saturn will be in your 6th house, so kind of also demanding you to work, to do your duties. So there might appear this sense of guilt. So try to be gentle with yourself. Of course, you deserve sometimes to relax, to maybe dedicate your focus and desires into your hobby. Pluto can make you very intense, passionate artist, no matter if you're writing, dancing, traveling, researching, whatever. Your hobby might become Plutonian: astrology, esoterics, psychology, finances, taboo topics, something about life and death, underground resources, semi-precious stones, crystals. Anyways, you will want to seriously focus on whichever is your hobby. You will want to seriously focus as well on love. And Pluto here, oof, I remember those days with the huge ups and downs in love, like this American roller coaster. One day I'm falling in love out of the blue, then the other day I'm crying, and then we're together, we're not together. Deep passion, obsession about someone or something, or you meet Plutonian people who are powerful, controlling, obsessive, maybe just very passionate. You might have the sense that you're meeting your soulmate, your second half. Yeah, the word for Pluto is obsessiveness, and it can be either of parties, fun, love, sex, children. Suddenly your children will be like, geez, mom, dad, don't be the helicopter parent, don't be the police officer at home, because you will suddenly want to control, spy on your kids, check the phone and so on, establish cameras. Pluto is always the surveillance and so on. So really, like, better to go into the hobby area department. You can be a painter and you can be just drawing, painting for 2 days without stopping, and create your amazing masterpiece. Then you can sell it expensive, because Pluto is big money. And if we're talking about 5th house, your hobbies can well become your business. You can find connections, find rich sponsors, donors, and people who appreciate what you do, and basically make a big business and focus your attention onto this topic here. You might get pregnant, have kids, or in the life of your children might become some Plutonian times of transformations, of changes. Maybe they change job, profession, or they have some love dramas, or they move abroad, or they have children, so you become a grandparent. Be careful of very risky investments and speculations. On one hand, Pluto will give you this smell, for the good deals, for people's intentions, like enhance your intuition about competitions, investments, speculations, business. But it always has to be controlled, not to, again, have big ups and big falls, with some stock markets and so on. You might be super dedicated to participate in competitions, win them, big ambitions for yourself, for your loved one, for your kids. Just, I would say, less paranoia, please, less control, less desire to merge so much with children or your loved one. But yeah, love can be very powerful at this stage. All right, and in March, on the 25th, Mars goes into Cancer. That's your 10th house. So for 2 months, Mars will be motivating and empowering your career. So you will have the assertiveness, the desire, the ambition to achieve more, to prove yourself as a very capable worker, leader, very inspirational. Very proactive. Of course, avoid some fights with superiors, with managers, bosses, authority figures, government, and your own parents, maybe father figure. But this is a good transit to kind of maybe reach higher position, be competitive, and be the winner as well. So I really wish you, dear Libras, a wonderful and empowering month of March. Enjoy it. May it bring you only positive changes and opportunities. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.